Oh! Ouch! Oh!
Ah.
Oh!
Just a couple of silly friends talking about serious stuff.
Welcome back to not what I was expecting, to Friends React to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Kitten. There is a kitten. No.
Oh my god, kitty! Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, so last week we saw Josh and Rebecca get back together. We met Nathaniel and
Daniel.
Daryl sold his law firm and lost control of it entirely. What else? Anything else happened? That was pretty much the majority of the episode.
Yeah. Some of the more specifics. We saw Josh and Rachel actually handle their relationship. Josh and Rebecca actually handled their relationship in a mature way for once. They talked things through. They expressed, Josh expressed that he was upset, and they talked things through, which was nice to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Nathaniel. It did drive Rachel to some of her darker lawyer instincts in the name of the greater good, in terms of, saving the jobs of her friends. And it's also like she exposed someone doing something illegal. It's not like she went after a but at the same time, she might have done that anyway, even if it wasn't someone doing something wrong, because she's willing to do whatever it takes to protect her friends, which of course begs the question, the ends justify the means, yes, no, gray area, but that's a whole separate thing that the show doesn't necessarily get into, at least not in this specific context. But yes, so it's what happens. I guess the big question is what's happening next in Josh and Rebecca's relationship is the real sort of next thing.
Nathaniel really got in her head with boopy doopy doopy doop.
Right. Yes, the fact that Josh is not on Rebecca's level intellectually, which is okay, but he's not in terms of academically, intellectually, I mean, specifically. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go from there. Season 2, episode 10. Will Scarsdale like Josh's Shayna Punim? Shayna Punim. Oh, this is gonna be good.
We're going to a bar mitzvah.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited. I feel like I'll have things to say about this. And for those who don't know, Shayna Punim is, I believe it's, I don't know if it's fully Yiddish or a combination of Yiddish and Hebrew, but it's a very common phrase in Jewish communities. It basically means pretty face. Like Shayna is like fair, pretty, beautiful. Punim means face. So Will Scarsdale, where she is from, and also a very Jewish area outside of New York, Will Scarsdale like Josh's pretty face.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him go to a bar mitzvah.
Me too. Oh man. I went to a lot of bar mitzvahs when I was 12, 13 years old, because all my friends and classmates were having their bar and bat mitzvahs. It's I don't know what they're like today because I haven't been to one in God knows how many years. But when I was going, a bar mitzvah, I'm curious to see how they show it, what it looks like. But a bar mitzvah was, you had a DJ, you had dumb little party games, like the DJ would have a hula hoop contest, or I can't even remember what, but I would always try to win that one. I actually came in second once, which felt pretty good.
Nice.
And there were party games and dancing, and different bar mitzvahs had they all kind of felt the same, which made people love mine because mine was very different. For my bar mitzvah, we rented a bunch of old arcade machines and set them up in our barn because I lived in Texas. I had a barn. Sure, why not? and we had the Mexican food catered. So it was a whole like it was very. Everyone told me how much they loved it like years later. It was a pretty cool time.
That sounds delicious.
It was so much fun. And I got to keep the air hockey table after my parents bought it for me as my bar mitzvah present. Like full-sized arcade table.
I love air hockey.
Yeah. Anyway, so will Scarsdale like Shayna Punim? Shall we begin?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Just a girl in love.
Can't be held responsible for my actions. And adorably obsessed. Hi, sorry.
Blam!
I will never get used to the blam.
1, 2, 3.
In a relationship!
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Facebook.
Taking a selfie of the Facebook official. Wow. That's
I feel like that's very like 2013 or whatever. Like I feel like it's not as big a thing now as it was 10 years ago when the show was new.
I love it too. Okay,
Heather!
Heather!
Studies have shown that couples who post a lot on social media are often insecure about their attachment. No, I actually started with a hypothesis and then I backed it up with a Vox article. It's standard scientific.
they see our happiness, it'll spread, and then there will be no more war.
That's how peace happens.
Oh my God. Heather's face, Heather's reaction is my reaction in that moment.
Yeah, Heather is not reading the room here.
Yeah.
Never have problems again.
I mean, I do kind of want those suits.
Like super delusional.
Go away, Heather.
Yeah, get out! Fine, I guess I'll just soul train out of here.
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
Problems again.
Okay, watching Heather smile is a little bit weird because of her character, but I love it.
I mean, I get it. I have to remind myself to smile because so much of the time I'm just like,
Elon Musk is developing that kind of car. The first test failed, but that's cause it wasn't true love.
Oh, Musk reference. That's aged well. That was a really fun number. Vincent is a very good disco dancer, I think.
yeah, Vincent's a very good dancer in general, I think.
Yeah. He has that sort of smooth rhythm that works really well with disco. That was really fun to watch. That was a great number. I love the costumes. I love I've seen a number of music videos from the 70s and early 80s that have that sort of sound stage vibe to them. That's just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And of course Heather is wonderful. And also they're completely delusional. Or I guess not delusional. That's not the right word, but people always think they're the exception. Right? You see it not just in relationships, though. That's a very common one. I know most people this happens to, but we're different. We're not going to have those problems. Our relationship's going to last. And it's not that it won't last, but it's, we'll have ups and ups and ups and ups. No, that's just not how it works. But of course, we're different,
Right. Yeah, and I like, similar to how I enjoyed that they were pointing out the problems with thinking that any relationship or person or something is going to fix everything in your life, that they're sort of coming back to that again. Even if both of you think that, it still doesn't make it true.
Yeah. Our caller will run on love. And the Musk reference, he wasn't a villain yet. At least I should say he wasn't obviously a villain yet. He was a billionaire scum, etc. So yes, we knew, but what I mean is that he hadn't gone full public, obvious, cartoonish villain yet, and a lot of people, I could understand why a lot of people were still thinking he was cool in 2017. Like, he hadn't gone quite mask off yet, I guess. And it was in 2017 the anti-billionaire rhetoric had begun really hard in 2016 with the excitement for Bernie Sanders, but the specific anti-individual billionaires hadn't really kicked off till a little bit later, I feel like. And most of it was initially directed toward Bezos until Musk sort of took over, and now Bezos gets less hate because it's all focused toward Musk.
Yeah. The transphobia didn't help.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it's intentional, but like, because it was an old style, we're very nostalgic for the old times. They're viewing it sort of through like this rose-colored, the way we view things through nostalgia. So they're viewing it like this fun, upbeat disco track where everything's just colorful and happy and wonderful. So too our relationship will be. Nah, it doesn't work like that, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's some strong NRE new relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, the NRE is strong with them.
But I think there's also a level of like willful delusion happening about this.
Yeah, the fact like they're just completely ignoring Heather. I mean, she didn't deliver it in the best way, but also because I feel like no way, no delivery would have been good, would have been effective, I should say. So I don't really blame Heather. Like, it's like, oh my God, you guys are idiots. Like, yeah. They kind of are.
It's pretty hard to warn people off of relationships or getting too much into a relationship. It very rarely works.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being excited about a relationship. In fact, you should be. It's a good thing. If you're not excited, what are you doing? But it's try to avoid the excitement at the expense of reality. Like, NRE, new relationship energy, is a beautiful thing. Enjoy it while it's there, bask in it, but also like be smart about it, take a step back, understand where it's coming from, etc. Like,
don't make any big life choices.
Yeah. That's why I like people who say like, yeah, we knew in 2 months. Like, no, you didn't. You were just excited, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, people who've been together for like 40 years and say like, yeah, we knew in the first 2 months. It's like, I don't believe that. You got lucky, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the fact is, you also, obviously, if you're together for 40 years and it's good, you've worked really hard, and maybe it was easier for you than it was for some other people, and good for you, but you didn't know anything in 2 months. You cannot know. And I know some viewers in the comments might disagree with me, and that's fine. That's the beauty of these things.
Yeah, especially for those of us with trauma and abuse in our past, it can be even more complicated.
Yeah, like, it took me a long time to learn this, but I develop crushes very easily. And it took me a long time to sort of understand that that's all they are. I'd go out on a couple of dates with someone and be like, wow, I could really see this going somewhere. I could be like, dude, like, it's been 2 dates, calm down. And eventually I learned and I developed enough self-awareness to be like, yeah, I'm crushing hard. That's okay. It's fine. My brain is going to wander. I can't control what my brain does. It's going to start wandering down all kinds of paths. Like, oh, where can I be with this person in 5 years? But at the same time, I'm also like, yeah, but like, it's a second date, dude. Like, it's okay. Like, yes, enjoy the fantasies, but also like, don't act on them, I guess.
Right. That's good self.
It took a while.
Does this suit say, hey, Nathaniel, I'm a lot like you?
Honestly, he looks pretty good in this suit.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh God, he has a treadmill desk. Of course he has a treadmill desk.
Wow, so you found Rebecca's treadmill desk?
Yes, took maintenance a while to get out the hot dog smell.
You're now the number one, I'm the number two, dangling under you, ready to drop in, make a splash.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
No rumblings for a deuce.
Oh, you can't eat Jelly Bellies like that. You don't know what flavors you're getting. It's too
Kept finding
risky.
out the buttered popcorn flavored ones.
See, Paula gets it.
I mean, it's not gonna change once he gets that big client.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
Pop the cover off, set it to 3.4 mph, slide some ballpark fatties on those rollers, it cooks up.
That's disgusting.
A little early. Today I have some unused vacation days.
Okay, where are you going?
We are going to a family bar mitzvah.
I've never heard anyone else use the term man of my dreams before you.
Why is he getting involved in this? Is it because he has a crush on Rebecca, or because what's going on with that?
It's a good question. Probably to hold it over people.
Hmm.
Almost as big as when you announced your relationship status on Waze, which I didn't.
Oh, Waze. I haven't heard of Waze in years.
Yay, Valencia!
Thank you for texting me back. Golden Girls gifts. GIFs? Is it gifs or GIF?
It's gifts. It's
Gif.
gifs. GIF.
Gif.
You know what? I don't think we can get past this disagreement, GIF or GIF. I think this is such a deep baseline disagreement that I cannot engage with someone who doesn't understand that it's graphic,
But
not graphic.
The person who made it said it's pronounced GIF.
Yes, and once you create something, you no longer have a saying. Ask anyone who's created a great work of fiction. Once you have created something, you no longer have control over it.
Yeah, like that time that they laughed Ray Bradbury out of conference hall because they said he didn't understand his own work when he said it wasn't about censorship. Fahrenheit 451.
That's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, no, it's pronounced GIF, but you're still a delightful person, and I am very fond of you despite your use of GIF.
Important moral questions of our time.
It's not my favorite thing, you guys being a couple, but I'm okay.
And are we okay? The answer doesn't have to be yes.
Good, because the answer is eh.
I love the honesty. Like, I love that she's being honest about it. She's honest with her feelings and honest to her friend about her feelings. And I really like that.
I know your relationship with your mom is kind of tough.
Yeah, but now I have Josh, so, it won't bother me.
It's like magic, FB, when Rebecca and I are together.
Yay, Father Bra. Wow, two of my favorite side characters, one right after the other. I love this episode.
Missed Father Bra.
What if I say the wrong thing? What if an old person calls me Oriental?
If you think you're gonna make it through a whole weekend with a bunch of 70-year-olds and not get called an Oriental, you're out of your ever-loving mind.
That's
that was
probably
good.
pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I just back from a trip with some 70-year-old conservative people, and that would be accurate.
Yep.
This relationship has to work out. Just has to.
Because it's the main thing going on in your life right now?
Yeah, kind of.
No.
Do you think you're defining yourself through your relationship?
You define yourself by your relationship to Jesus.
Wow, you got me there, man.
Fair.
We talked about this before with Rebecca about how she defines herself through her relationships. Earlier on, when Greg was still around, we talked about how I was so excited that like she finally recognized that Josh wasn't treating her well. It was like episode 2 or 3. But then instead of being like, I need to treat myself well, she's like, oh, but Greg treats me well. And she attempts to go right back to Greg, who unfortunately, because he's out of the show now and I miss him and he's so wonderful and I miss the actor and I miss his beautiful voice. Oh my God. But good for the character of Greg. But it's interesting now to see it from Josh's perspective that, yeah, he's doing the exact same thing Rebecca's doing, defining himself through his relationships. The big difference being that, as we talked about before, when he met Anna, he's incapable of being single. He doesn't know how to be single. And it's so, excuse me, I love how Father Bra just said it outright, and Josh was like, yeah, at least he has enough self-awareness to understand that, like, yeah, that is it. But I don't think he sees it as a problem necessarily. He, like, acknowledges it, but, like, yeah, okay, so.
You're doing the same thing, bruh.
Yeah, Father Bra.
Okay.
Oh, that was a really good line. Oh, you got me there.
You were into bird watching?
Oh, no, I'm not. I stashed my weed in one of these trees.
Why?
Father who art high in heaven.
Oh,
Oh,
I forgot you were bringing the Oriental.
That did not take long.
immediately.
Oh, and also the way she screeched. Wow, that was a good screech.
Mm-hmm.
Your fakakta cousin fumbled through his Haftorah. And Becky, do you know what Torah portion they gave Skylar?
What?
The one with the menstruation and the lepers.
Are you guys not mad at each other anymore?
I'm the one who should be mad with this hunk of plastic cluttering up my house.
Oh, wow.
You're confused? I've been confused ever since this one popped out of my vagina.
Oh my.
Wow.
Talk about your vagina.
Why? It's perfectly good. I have had some fabulous reviews lately.
She is a lot.
Yeah, that she's a lot. But I mean, overbearing mothers are a common thing you see in a lot of cultures. It's something shared among many cultures, Jewish, Italian, WASP, like you see it in a lot of places. But I just hearing all of the terms, Haftarah, Torah portion, just a lot of the terms that like sort of were thrown around in that scene that I mentioned this in the very first episode, like in the first 5 minutes, how it's so fun to be watching a show about Jewish characters where her Judaism is not just the butt of a joke, not just an occasional reference, and not some horrible, oppressive thing she's trying to escape from. It's just a part of who she is. It's a part of her identity. And it's so fun to watch this as someone be like, as a Jewish person, and be like, ha, I understood that reference. Oh yeah, I get that. And you don't. It's my turn to be on the inside of the joke. But to be honest, there's nothing like that interesting among the lines to like to take the time to explain each thing. But it was just kind of fun to be like, yeah, I see, I know what's going on. This is cool. Yeah, quite a scene. I'm actually surprised how awful she was directly toward Josh. Like that was rough to watch.
Yeah, she was not on her best behavior.
Wasn't she though? Is she capable of better?
We'll find out.
Yeah. I've had a lot of great reviews lately with a really good line. Hey, good for her. She's getting out there. She's having fun.
Yeah.
Don't have to tell your daughter in such explicit terms, maybe.
No.
But good for her.
Yeah, I once had my mom talk to me about her vibrator and was like, nope, this went too far.
Yeah.
Good for you. I don't need to be part of this conversation.
What are you working on, Jeff? Nothing.
Oh, Daryl's feeling left out and uninvolved, and so he's trying to...
Wait, weren't you fired, Jordan?
It's George.
And Nathaniel hired me back, because I guess you're shorthanded and the firm has so much work to do.
But nobody's giving him any work.
Yep. Well, he's completely out of the loop, and there's nothing he hates more than being out of the loop.
Sorry, I was specifically told not to let you touch any of the work.
Oh no!
Just looked over the briefs for the Peterson case.
It's Peterson.
It's not. It isn't.
I love Maya. Maya's amazing.
Our work needs to be Ivy League, and right now, it's Arizona State.
Rude.
Los Devils!
I love how he's so like alpha male, I'm in charge, I'm a tough guy, but like it's not good enough for daddy.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, he's such a wimp. Like he's such like ugh.
Hey, I'm supposed to do an escape room with my college roommate. Some of you may know her, Sasha Mamet.
Why is Zasha Mamet someone we should know?
I don't know.
Name in the world. Guys, don't worry. I can handle this. I still matter here. My name's still on the wall. I am not an emasculated sock puppet.
What? No one called you that.
We are not working Saturday. Watch this guy.
Oh, this is gonna be so cringy and painful. I hope they just like show him go in the office and come out because I do not want to watch the exchange.
No.
Okay, fine. I'll allow it. Thing is, though, Daryl wasn't awful at his job from what I remember. Like, he wasn't great, but like, you can't find work for him?
Nathaniel made us throw out the candy.
You what?
Yeah, he said it was disgusting and impacts productivity, and it's a tumor waiting to happen.
He's gonna snap. He's gonna snap.
Yep.
As much
He
as Daryl is
like-
capable of snapping.
Now, come on. I am ready to turn my childhood trauma into a kink.
Oh no! That
Okay.
is so uncomfortable.
I will never forget that crime scene I walked in on between you and Isaac Berger of the Model UN. They were having period sex. Put down the
Mom! Oh my God! Just stop!
Wow.
You know what, Mrs. Bunch? Let me help thaw the fish.
Finally, someone is actually offering to help out around here. Finally, someone is not completely selfish.
I had somebody say something like that to me while I was in the middle of helping them. Like
Yeah.
to somebody like, oh, somebody who's finally helping. Like, I have dishes in my hand that are yours. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Some people are awful.
Your mom taught me how to make challah French toast.
No. Challah, Josh. Cha.
Challah. I gotta keep working on it.
So that one hits home so hard because whenever I hear someone say like, "Oh, I love challah bread," I'm like, "Challah back at you too," but like, that's not. Oh, it hurts. Like I know, like with any language, if you didn't grow up with certain sounds, you have trouble with those sounds. Like I'm currently learning French, and there are some of the very nasal sounds that are just not natural for me to do. Some of the vowel sounds are so specific and they're just not natural. Like my middle name is Simcha, which means joy, happiness. So most non-Hebrew speakers, non-Arabic speakers, there are a few other languages, but English speakers, it's, oh, you're Simcha, Simha. And I'm like, no, Simcha, but you're never going to get it. So that's okay. Because if you don't grow up with using certain sounds, you have trouble pronouncing them. So while I have all the sympathy for Josh, it also hurts me just a little bit when he says challah.
You're gonna get it, Bubba. You're gonna get it. He's never gonna get it. Why would he? He's a Pacific Islander.
Wow, what happened to calling him Oriental?
Rebecca, that term is considered antiquated, so get woke, Bex.
Oh!
I hate when people do that. They finally stop being overtly racist and then like rub it in your face that they're not overtly racist. It's like, good for you. That's great. But like, I told you this for the last 3 years and now you're going to give me crap. Like what? Like,
You don't have to keep pretending to like her.
I'm not pretending. I do like her. In my family, we don't talk about poop. I had to learn about it by watching an episode of 90210.
Have you found a temple out there yet?
Well, I don't believe in God, so no, it didn't make my to-do list.
Always questioning. That is the true spirit of the Jewish people.
She's a programmed robot who's trying to incept God into me all the time.
Whoa, I didn't know that. I know a ton about robots.
Oh no, boy.
Wait, what is it?
Look who it is.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
yay! Yes!
Audra Esther Levine.
You guys know each other?
Yep. Finished quick, rotten late.
Hey, you know what they say? It's not how long you last, it's how big your penis is.
Oh wow. There's just so much happened there.
Josh is great to bring to a family reunion.
Oh, he's so great. Oh, I love him. I'm really enjoying seeing Josh in his element, which is just being charming with strangers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on. So I guess I'm gonna sort of like work backwards. As soon as she showed up with her husband, I'm like, she and Rebecca hooked up with the husband because Audra has to have everything Rebecca has. That was a running theme from earlier. She has, and I wouldn't even be surprised if like Audra sort of took him from her, at least in a way, or so that's not surprising at all.
It was in the Jap battle, the Jap rap battle.
I'll have to go back and rewatch that. I don't recall. The whole exchange with the rabbi was interesting. So just a little background. First of all, for those wondering, in Orthodox Judaism, only men can be rabbis because whatever, I don't want to get into it. I could go on a rant about it. But in Reform Judaism, men, women, anyone can be a rabbi. In my experience with which is limited with Reform Judaism, the rabbis usually aren't trying to tell you how to believe. They're usually more like, do what works for you. You're always welcome. So again, maybe it's different in more like traditional New York congregations, temples. Maybe that's more thing. I don't know. But my experience with Reform Judaism, as limited as it has been, has actually been incredibly positive. But it nonetheless, like, yeah, the New York Jewish life is its own breed of Jewish life because it's the largest Jewish community outside of Israel in the world, and in my experience with the New York community, I have a lot of experience with the New York Orthodox community. And even saying that isn't fair because there are so many different communities within New York. Because it's just so big. There's so many Jews in New York. They very much think, I found New York Jews, New Yorkers in general, but in this specific case, New York Jews, to be some of the most provincial people in the world because you can get everything you want in New York. You think you don't need anything else. You think anyone from another city anywhere in America is a rube. So they end up becoming some of the most like small-minded people. Now, again, not everyone. I have some amazing friends from New York, wonderful people. But it is something I experienced more than I would have liked to among New York Jews, was this idea that their way of doing things is the way because New York is the way Jews should be, right? So sort of watching this, it's like bringing me back a little bit to my time living in New York and my time, in seminary and being around a lot of New York Jews. It's a very different experience. But yeah, New Yorkers in general are their own breed of people because New York is such a diverse and central city where there's so much going on. A lot of people end up thinking they don't need anything outside of New York. And so they end up becoming in a sort of, while being both very worldly because the world comes to New York, they also end up being very provincial at the same time. And it's very true in the Jewish community as well. And I feel like we're seeing that there, like, this is the way to do things. And the rabbi, it's like, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. I like that she was very accepting of Rebecca. She didn't seem to pressure her, at least not right off the bat. Maybe that's coming later. The rabbi, I mean. And while I'm not Jewish myself, I do live with some Jewish people, so I've had some peripheral engagement with the topic. And from my understanding, it does seem like questioning things is a very large part of Jewish culture. Reflection, questioning why we do things, how we do things, that kind of thing seems very centered in a lot of the rituals that I've been a part of.
so absolutely, it's the idea of questioning is no matter which group, whether it's Orthodox, Reform, Hasidic, whatever part you are, at least the idea of questioning is given lip service to. It's important. You should do it. But the more, as the case is with every religion, the further right-wing fundamentalist extremist you go, you can question as long as you come to the answer. In other words, this is the answer. You're welcome to question how we got there, but this is the answer. One of the experiences I liked, having started going to a Reform synagogue recently, a temple, is that the rabbi got up and gave a speech, and I've been zoning out for most speech because I grew up Orthodox, and because of that, I was extremely judgmental and closed-minded towards non-Orthodox Jews because they're not doing it right. So when I stopped believing and I stopped being religious, I didn't say, "Oh, I'll give Reform a try." I said, "No, I'm done with this," because Reform to me wasn't real Judaism, because that's the way I was so ingrained in me that Reform Judaism wasn't real. I imagine sort of in a similar way that a lapsed Baptist is going to look at like, I don't know enough about like Christianity to know like which sect to use as an example, but isn't going to look at like, what's the really liberal one in the US? United. There's one in the States that's basically like pretty chill and really nice and very open and accepting. I keep wanting to say Unitology, but that's the death-worshipping religion from Dead Space, so that's not it.
Is it Unitarian?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Whatever the case is, it'd be like someone who, a lapsed Christian and being like, yeah, I'm not going to find my faith in another sect. I'm just done with it. But over the years, as I sort of was like, well, maybe I do kind of miss aspects of Judaism. I miss the community, the cultural, some of the traditional ritualistic aspects, even if I don't necessarily believe in God as I was taught to believe. So I began exploring Reform and just seeing what was out there. And I found that one of the first things that made me go, I kind of like this, was the rabbi gave a speech about Job, Eov in Hebrew. And Job is an interesting topic because it's basically God makes a bet with the devil and is like, the devil's like, hey, this guy is only a good Jew, is only, faithful to you because he's rich, he's powerful, he's got kids, he's everything you possibly want. So, and God's like, oh yeah, I'm going to prove to you that he would love me and be faithful anyway, and basically kills all his kids, takes away all his wealth, makes his life a living hell. Mm-hmm. And the rabbi straight up says, God made a bad bet. He didn't try. She didn't try to excuse this bet because, like, from her perspective, it's not. This is the truth, and now we're going to try to justify it the way I so often saw in Orthodox sermons and Orthodox learning practices. It was, how can we try to best understand the story, the point? What can we learn from it? And I don't have all the answers, but this is my best understanding. And I loved that. It was so refreshing to hear a rabbi get up and say, I don't have all the answers, and I'm just going to do my best. And I'm not right necessarily, and you're welcome to your own interpretations, and that's wonderful. So yeah, it was like, it made me feel like, oh, this is a place I could actually sort of maybe enjoy my time, and I have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's very off topic from the show, but this show is just, this episode is obviously bringing a lot of personal feelings about religion and my own personal journey to the fore. So we'll see how much of it actually gets in the episode.
Yeah, I feel like I could talk about Job for a while, but we'll go down that whirlpool.
Yeah. Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'd love to, any of our viewers, commenters have questions that they'd like to ask about Judaism, about journey, like, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. Keep spoilers out of those specific comments. But I'm actually planning, when I've finished the entire season and eventually the whole show, I'm going to go back and read all the comments and respond to them with my account. so as to avoid spoilers until then. But yeah, if you have any questions that you'd like answered, I'm happy to engage with you in the comments. Just, tag it, say, hey, Edward, question about this. Yeah.
At least I'm married and not living in California and having a nervous breakdown.
Right. Hey, remember when I had sex with your husband? Yeah. As he finished, he called me mom. Have fun unpacking that puzzle top.
His solo's coming up.
We should all go skiing in Mammoth.
Totally. This December?
Done.
I love how Josh is so likable.
You're still a bitch.
So are you.
Yeah, it's not as fun now.
No, it's not.
Aw. But why isn't it as fun? I don't get it. But okay.
I think that they both genuinely don't want to hurt their partners.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of what I took from it, that they're both like, well, I actually
Okay.
care about this person, and they seem to care about this other person, and now it's just not as fun to rip it apart.
Yeah, it's hard to hate when there's so much love going on around.
So in that way, Rebecca and Josh were correct.
Hey, there you are. You want to do a photo? You want a boa? An old-timey hat? A mustache stick?
Oh god, mustache sticks are so unhygienic because it's by your mouth.
It's just, you're not supposed to be having this much fun.
Oh. Oy.
I don't know. What I think I wanted was just for you and I to sit in a corner and laugh about how miserable and terrible everyone is.
They're having fun.
They don't understand what fun is.
No, I feel like she didn't understand what fun is while she was living there.
A horror!
Oh god.
I think that is an important distinction.
Yeah.
They made a 13-year-old boy say the Kaddish. That's a prayer for the dead.
It's not that simple, but okay.
Listen, Josh. It sounds like one thing, but means another.
Is she gonna sing a song to the horror? Yep. Oh, circle dancing. I've done that so many times in my life.
Being happy is selfish. Remember that we suffered.
I don't want to bring up the Holocaust. I know the Holocaust, but the Holocaust was a really big deal. This DJ is terrific.
She's so great.
Amazing. Yeah, the chairlifting thing is a big thing at Jewish events. I've been on the chair and I've lifted up the chair a lot.
Spielberg and Hitler. Remember that we suffered. Have we met?
When I say we, you say suffer. We suffer.
Jokes aside, that was really fun. But the idea that we keep in mind the Jewish history of suffering and turmoil, and there's a lot of it. That is actually a thing at weddings. I'm sure a lot of people have seen like this in movies, or for those who aren't aware, after the official like you are married moment of the ceremony, after the guy gives the woman a ring, or in more egalitarian, less traditional, they give each other rings, whatever. The man will stomp on a glass, and what he's doing is it's a small act of destruction to remember the destruction of the temple, which sort of started the 2,000 years of suffering. And it's a way to remind that even at our happiest, we're still missing something. So this song isn't just like, haha, joke, Jews are always whining. It's actually a big part of Jewish tradition and culture that we are always supposed to keep in mind that as good as things might be, there is not only a long history of suffering, the suffering will continue until, and this is more the Orthodox interpretation, until the Messiah comes, until the temple is rebuilt, until all the Jews are living in Israel, and we have, basically a totally direct, obvious connection to God again, etc. So yeah, the concept of, remember that we suffered is a very, very Jewish, very, very like real concept, and not just made up for this fun little song. I will say, the fixation with, like, in the song of, like, just, the Holocaust, Hitler, like, yes, that obviously is a very big deal, obviously, and is relatively recent in the grand scheme of history, but it's hardly the only example of massive suffering of the Jewish people at the hands of the governments and groups of people. I would have preferred if they mentioned some of the other ones, so it's not just the Holocaust, because there's more to it. And honestly, like, even as a Jewish person, hearing someone go on and on about nothing but the Holocaust, it's like, okay, I get it, but, like, there's a lot more to it, good and bad. And at a certain point, it does kind of sound like, well, the Holocaust happened, so you owe us. Like, no, it's important to remember it happened and to acknowledge it and to be respectful of it. But, like, I don't want to say move on, because you can't move on from that. That was generational trauma that still affects us to this day. I don't know anything about my family history past a few generations ago because it was all destroyed in Europe. But at the same time, like, hearing people, some Jewish people, like, going on about how the Holocaust as though it happened yesterday can get a bit much, I guess. But that's very much just my opinion. And because it is such a difficult topic, I'm not going to tell anyone else how they should feel about it. Except Holocaust deniers. They can just fuck right off. Pardon my language. Or don't, because I feel very strongly about that.
I felt that was something that the song was trying to get across also, was that this is such a complicated topic for people in this community that it was important, and they have a hard time not bringing it up, while at the same time they're kind of sick of bringing it up and kind of sick of hearing about it. And there's this sort of the cycle that happens, and they're both present at the same time.
That's it exactly. You nailed it. It's very much like, we don't want to have a victim's mentality, but we've been victimized so much that it's like, how do we not? But we don't want to. But so it's this difficult, like generational trauma. There are other groups that have experienced horrifying generational trauma, and it's not better, not worse. Some have experienced worse, some have experienced less. Like, it's not a competition. That's not the point. But it is this sort of, we want you to acknowledge it, and perhaps in the context, and give Germany a lot of credit, they have over the generations made tremendous efforts to make amends. They could do more, whatever, but, like, but at the same time, it's like, at a certain point, the people who did it are all dead. So what do you want? Like, it's not their kids' fault, right? But also, like, you don't want to punish the children for the sins of the fathers, but a nation should make amends. Like, it's a very complicated topic that can't be summarized in a YouTube video between two random people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like your point that, like, a lot of Jews have very complicated feelings about it. Not about the Holocaust. That's pretty obvious how we feel about that, as should be. But in terms of how we look at it today and how we sort of, it affects our lives today. Yeah.
I don't know, Rebecca. It seems like the only person who's miserable here is you.
Probably Audra.
Audra was just in the background dancing and having fun. Did you? Here, okay. I'll go back.
Rebecca, it seems like the only
you can see her in the background there with her husband.
Yes.
She's had dancing and having a good time. I feel like Audra's miserableness is mostly brought out when Rebecca's around, because Audra is living the life she wants. From my perspective, Audra is living the life she wants. It's just when Rebecca comes around, she's reminded that she was often second best. And also, Rebecca slept with her husband. Like, there's a lot of, like, Audra's not the bad guy here. These are two flawed people who have hurt each other. Like, if we were to see Audra's story, it could easily be played like Rebecca's the villain.
Yeah, I think Audra has spent a lot of her life defining herself in contrast to Rebecca.
It's a competition that she had to win. And when Rebecca's not around, she has won it. She has the job that she and Rebecca always wanted. She has the husband. She has the life that that they were both told they should have. The difference is Audra actually does seem to want it, whereas Rebecca didn't. At least from what we can see.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Audra's a very minor character, so we're not really getting her full perspective.
Yeah, I think it's also possible that, I'll just stop talking because I'm getting into spoiler territory.
Oh, okay.
Daryl, I can see you. You ever hidden before? Do you know what hiding is?
You know what hiding is?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. The truth is...
I did it.
What? No.
It was me.
Are we gonna have a Spartacus moment?
And I got the Skittles.
Yay, Spartacus!
I got the milk duds.
I love milk duds.
And I brought gummy vitamins.
Can take our candy. But you can never take...
Well, I say you're all a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Now go back to work.
You won. Congrats.
Did they? Did they win?
He didn't take it out. He didn't chastise them other than just saying
that's true.
Children.
I hate it here. I hate all this stuff.
They're you. And if you hate that stuff, you hate yourself.
Oh.
It doesn't matter how great your boyfriend is. You'll always be unhappy.
Thank you. Been saying that since season 1, which is the whole point of this show. So I don't know why I'm so excited.
When we were kids, he made me feel so happy. And I guess I just thought that if I could get back to that place, that my life would magically be okay.
It's fantasy. It's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pops. Papa doodle doo. What's the word?
Ugh. Ooh, are we gonna see a softer, more like pathetic side of him?
I don't know.
I know. You got to earn it. Nothing gets handed to you. I love that. That's how we do.
Nothing gets handed to you, my ass.
I know. I hear you, sir. I love that saying.
Anyone who calls their dad sir, I worry about.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Wait a minute, I don't think that's safe.
Oh! Ouch! Oh! Oh! The tooth! Ow! So nothing that just happened there was surprising to me, and I kind of figured that's where they were building to, like all the daddy stuff, sir, etc. I didn't see the candy thing coming, though I should have. That was obviously being set up and I just missed it. But they're humanizing him, which I figured we would eventually see coming. And you were probably like, I can't say anything of spoilers.
Nope. A lot of spoilers in this show that I'm trying to
You're doing a fantastic job. You're doing a really great job.
Thanks. I like to talk about it, so it's hard. Feels like we're at a point where Rebecca is not the only one having a nervous breakdown anymore. A lot of people's lives are kind of falling apart right now. Paula's, Nathaniel's.
Yeah. Paula's Paula because her husband, right, that whole thing. Yeah, we're sort of, I wonder if it's toward the end of season 2, so I wonder if we're coming up to the all is lost moment, sort of everyone together. Even Jerky McJerkface Nathaniel. Everyone's sort of all is lost moment is coming.
Maybe.
I I love that your face is like, I can't say anything. It hurts.
Excited. Also, we're coming close to one of my favorite episodes. So
Okay.
I'm also excited about that.
Ooh, all right. Okay.
One of my favorite
Ready?
one-off characters.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Does this have something to do with your dad?
Yeah.
Did he not give you the account? Oh. You know, my dad is a real jerk, too.
Oh, Daryl.
He used to call me an emasculated sock puppet. Oh, that's where that's from.
That one hurt a little too close to home. That was very funny. Aw, they're bonding. I mean, he does have a thing for younger hot men.
Or at least one.
He has a thing for Joe, yes.
We haven't really seen him hitting on anybody
I
else.
know. He doesn't need to. He has Joe, and Joe is perfect.
End of trip selfie. Hashtag shalom means both hello and goodbye.
It also, the technical meaning is actually just peace. Shalom means peace, but it's used for hello and goodbye.
Rebecca seems like she's mad at me.
Oh, buddy.
It feels like she's pulling away.
Don't tell her mom that.
I told everyone about it. It can't fall apart now.
Well, it won't. Because I won't let that happen.
Oh no, this is gonna go so badly.
So badly. I don't remember what happens, but it can't be good.
You softened some of her sharp edges, thank God.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I don't think that they're bad together. I think they have fun. I think they each appreciate things about each other and celebrate each other.
Oh no. I feel like this is gonna hurt my soul a little bit.
You know, I was thinking, Daryl, I'm so slammed, maybe you would like to take over the Crestfield account.
The what? That's like our biggest client.
Aww.
And I need a co-pilot.
Oh, Nathaniel.
I love how he grabbed it out of his hand.
Your office is that way.
I love Maya. I love that, like, she just, like, started off as such a nothing character, and she's become, like, yeah, really cool. Yay! Dr. Copian's back!
Yay!
There's something else at the core of my unhappiness that I didn't realize. She said that I wouldn't find my answers in another person, and I don't know, that's starting to make a lot of sense.
Her face of pure shock. Oh no!
Go on.
Go on. Oh no, Josh is gonna propose. No, 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 no.
If he is not the answer, what could it be about?
Oh my god, I love her in this scene so much.
My own issues.
I'm so
Very unprofessional, but I so feel it. I so feel it.
stay a little longer today. Candace, cancel my next 5 appointments.
5?
That's really funny. Psychologists are not supposed to get personally involved with their patients.
But figuring out what that is, being happy with myself, that's a hard and scary road that
She's way too excited.
maybe I need to just take some time on my own. Josh?
Oh no, 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 no.
This is so romantic.
Oh no! She was so close! I feel like I say that a lot. Why is everyone in this show so close to getting it, but they never quite get it?
This is like a fairy tale. This is everything I've ever wanted.
No, 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 no.
Josh.
Rebecca, nor a bunch. Will?
Oh no.
No one is listening to Dr. Akobian.
Wait,
Mary.
please.
Yeah!
That scene must have been so much fun to act. Oh.
Do you know Jeremy Stein?
Oh.
You know Josh Berger?
No.
Oh, I love this.
Do you know Sammy Goldberg? No. Did you go to Camp Knock and Mixon?
No. I love Adam Sandler.
He's okay.
Eh.
So what they were what was just happening there is a thing that I have experienced countless times in my life called Jewish geography. And someone will ask, like, oh, you're Jewish. Do you know this Jewish person? And I want to be like, look, not all Jews know each other, but unfortunately, it's a not insignificant amount of time where I'm actually like, yeah, I do. Like we went to synagogue together, or like, yeah, oh yeah, he's a friend of a friend, or I met him at a party through a friend. Because like at the end of the day, like especially like if someone's like I'm from Dallas, which has a sizable Jewish community, but it's not like massive like New York is. So if someone's like, oh, you're a Jew from Dallas, do you know this person? There's a decent chance I do. I'm not going to say it's like greater than 50% chance, especially if they weren't religious, it's going to be a lesser chance. But like between going to high school with a lot of Jewish a Jewish day school, Jewish high school, synagogue, etc., there's a decent chance I at least know the family. So it's not unusual when like you meet someone who's like, oh, you're a Jew from Dallas, whether they're Jewish themselves or not. It's like at the same time, it's like, dude, not all Jews know each other, but at the same time, like, there's a decent chance I do know this person, this random person.
Yeah, I think that's a very common thing across just marginalized groups in general, because I mean, I hear people of different ethnicities talk about it. I've gotten that as a queer or trans person, so like, yeah. Oh, you
especially
are
if you're
from group. You must know everyone else in X group.
especially if you're from a place that isn't like enough people know that like, oh, you're a Jew from New York. There's a pretty good chance you don't know this random person I know. But if you're from somewhere other than New York, LA, maybe Chicago or Toronto, like they're going to ask because they just assume it's a small community of Jews, even though like there's a lot of cities that have pretty decent sized Jewish communities nowadays. But yeah, there's a non-zero chance that I know random Jew from Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But asking a non-Jewish person if they know random Jews is kind of weird.
So, Josh and Rebecca are engaged.
Right, yes, we should probably talk about that. And how it's awful and I hate it.
And that is a way to feel.
I think we were all Dr. Copian in that scene.
Yeah. I do think Dr. Copian often functions as sort of an audience stand-in.
Yeah, like, look, we are not medical professionals. However, I have a bachelor's in psychology, and I've been to enough therapists myself over the years to know that was incredibly unprofessional, but also done for the sake of TV. That was clearly like, cancel my next 5 appointments. Really? You're going to be sitting with Rebecca for the next 5 hours? Like, I could see her saying, cancel my next appointment because this one's going to go long because we just started a breakthrough and I at least want to get into it a bit. I could see something like that happening. Like you give Rebecca the extra hour so that you can really make some headway and then continue next week. Sure. Mm-hmm. Cancel my next 5 appointments was pure sitcom joke. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah. I think we could also try to be generous with our interpretation and be like, well, maybe she needs some time to recover herself and like process things, because working with Rebecca for a longer amount of time is very draining on.
The thing is, though, it's also like you're not supposed to get emotionally involved with your patients, which she clearly has.
Yeah.
Also, she needs that kayak.
This is a lot of fun. I'm really glad that you're enjoying this. I thought this might be up your alley.
I'm having an absolute blast. This episode especially, I felt like I had a lot to contribute from the Jewish angle. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. This was
season 2, episode 10, Will Scarsdale like Josh's Shayna Punim?
Yes. This was a really fun one. I think we had some good conversation. And I'm really excited for what's coming next. It's either the one after that. That's one of my favorite episodes.
Okay. If anyone has any questions for me, I mentioned earlier, feel free to sound off in the comments. We love hearing what you have to say.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time in season 2, episode 11. Josh is the man of my dreams, right? Ooh.
I'm excited.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Until next time.